Microsoft just announced a whole slew of new updates for SharePoint as part of their 25th birthday of SharePoint. The thing's been around for 25 years. I've been involved with it for most of that time. I think I missed out on the first year or two. But in this video, I'm going to go through all of the announcements and give additional context about what's kind of going on, what direction they're headed in, as far as I know, so that you can adapt your strategy going forward with how you and your users use SharePoint. Let's get into it. So this is the new blog article that Adam Harmitz put out on March 2nd, which is the day they celebrated the birthday. All of these features are split into three different categories. AI in SharePoint, of course, because everything has to have more AI, right? But also a brand new SharePoint experience, a much more polished user interface. And then enhanced governance control. So additional things have come out to help you govern your SharePoint environment. We're going to break these all down because there's a lot of features in each one of them. So let's cover the AI in SharePoint feature first, just to get that out of the way, for better or worse. Some of you love additional AI and you've got those Copilot licenses, while the other part of you, while the rest of you just hate it because more than likely your organization has not invested in Copilot and you're just sick and tired of hearing it. I completely understand both sides of that argument. But for better or worse, here's what we've got with the new AI features. So you have got publishing with AI. It's an AI first publishing experience. So if you have the M365 Copilot licenses, then what you'll be able to do is start chatting with Copilot right inside SharePoint and build out your content. This is not just pages. This is sites, pages, lists, and library creation. All of that can now be an AI-first experience. You can bring your own data into it, as we see in this video, and it will use that and build out what you need. When it comes to more structure of your site, things like building out an entire site, then you'll see this sort of experience, which does mimic very closely what I've seen in Power Apps with their, I forget what that thing is called because I'm not a Power Apps person, but it's like an action planner or a planner experience where essentially you've got Copilot talking with a number of different agents, each focused on a different aspect. One could be requirements gathering, another is building out structure, and another is user experience. And they all work together as a team of agents to make sure everything is as close to perfect as it can get. This looks like that same kind of thing where more than likely there are additional agents working. This is powered by Claude, so it's using an Anthropic model, which is kind of cool. But this will work together to build out all of the content that it thinks you need. Now, you'll see on the left-hand side, you've got a chat experience where you can refine what this site is going to need right inside the chat experience and let SharePoint continue to iterate over the design of your site. In this case, it's a site, until you think it is right. And then it can build out that stuff for you. Now, what is really cool is this feature is starting to roll out already. It'll finish over the next few weeks. So by the time you have watched this video, maybe it's already in your environment. So you definitely should be looking for that. I'll show you some other areas where you should be looking to figure out where do you access this stuff. So with sites, you're going to describe the solution that you need, and SharePoint will create that structured plan, including the pages, the lists, the libraries, all that kind of stuff. SharePoint's going to be using a lot of different tools to work on this. Between you and me, it's probably all these MCP servers that they've been rolling out to handle SharePoint and OneDrive interactions and some other things. There's a list MCP server as well, I believe. So this is going to be using a lot of that stuff that actually came with Agent 365. We'll get right back to the video, but real quick, Copilot is really great for working with your data, but how are you protecting that data? If you don't have a backup and recovery strategy, here's your wake-up call. Think your cloud data is safe just because it's in Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace? Think again. Accidental deletions, ransomware, and compliance gaps can still put your business at risk. AFI is a next-gen backup and recovery platform built for modern cloud environments, including Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, Azure, AWS, and Kubernetes. It offers full fidelity restores, encrypted full-text search, version history, and even self-service recovery, so users can get back data without waiting on IT. And when ransomware hits, AFI detects it early and automatically backs up your data before damage is done. Over 10,000 organizations trust AFI to protect their cloud data. If you care about uptime, compliance, and peace of mind, it's time to back up smarter with AFI. But during this process, it's going to reason over all of the stuff that you need and build out your solution or your site or your library, whatever. Similarly, with Pages, you'll be able to draft, refine, and reorganize the content right on that canvas and that page designer. You'll be able to ask SharePoint to adjust the tone or generate summaries or reshape sections to get it just how you want. Again, it's an AI-first experience. You can still do all the manual stuff that we've always been able to do, but you have a new option. And so the goal here is to give people a choice. If someone isn't that familiar with editing pages, but they know how to describe what they need, this type of feature is perfect for them. Or someone who just doesn't want to deal with all the clicking around and they just want to chat with it and click that microphone button and just describe. We just tell it with their voice. Hey, no, change this to look like this. I know a lot of people are using the voice first AI experience so that they don't even have to type anymore. They just start talking with SharePoint and really Copilot behind the scenes. Now, when it comes to libraries, it doesn't look like it's much different than what we had before this announcement. We already had like the knowledge agent, more on that later. We don't have a knowledge agent anymore, but we still have the same experience that we did before where, that's like, I felt like that was the first piece that rolled out and it rolled out early. But lists are the new one. So you'll be able to fully create, read, update, manage list data, all of that stuff through just natural language. You could populate lists from files, which is really cool. I mean, you're just importing a file, of course, but that used to be a manual process, and now we can have Copilot reason over that and use a little bit more thought processing and create a better schema than what that file might have naturally just looked like. Now, another new feature, let me see if I can find this. Yeah, and here's the library interface, which again, it doesn't really look that much different. But if you haven't really used it lately, this could all be entirely new. And if that's the case, look at my knowledge agent videos and you'll kind of see what this thing really can do now with a Copilot license. Now, the structured document, net new functionality, completely new. What this will do is it can look at a document, figure out, like if this is a form type of document, it can pick out all of the different fields that would make this document unique from another document. And it will create a template for that document to be able to recreate this. It will also build out a form so that you'll essentially start with a document. It will extract all the necessary fields out into a form. Now users can complete the form and it builds out a new document. So you get documents to form and then to new document. So this is I believe this is powered by what used to be called SharePoint Premium's document processing, or structured content processing, I think was the term, but it was this same type of document intelligence and document templatization. That's what we're having here, and it's all just getting baked into the core SharePoint experience. Really, really exciting stuff. The other thing when it comes to AI is the knowledge agent. So I'm not crazy about this, to be honest. I think it's a bad move, but we'll see. We'll see if that opinion holds up over time. They've removed the name knowledge agent from the knowledge agent. So you've still got the floating action button. It still does the same things. Actually, it does more. They've added more things to it. There's some extensibility there as well. Customers will be able to add their own custom skills to the knowledge agent. Now that, I don't have any other details on that, But as a developer, I'm really excited about what things I could get that knowledge agent to do. We'll see how far they let us take things. But the knowledge agent has been debranded. And so now it's just all called AI in SharePoint. I hate not being able to call a thing a thing. That, I mean, I guess we could still call it the floating action button thing, or I don't know. I'm probably still going to be continue referring to something as the knowledge agent because at least I can give it a name, a thing, because there's so many pieces that make up AI in SharePoint. If you're trying to refer to a particular thing, you kind of need a name to, use with it. So I think it's a bad move. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe they will come back with a name. It probably depends on customer feedback, to be honest. Now we get to the new SharePoint experience. Now, this is available currently as an opt-in. I'm sure they're going to switch everyone to this eventually, but they're probably allowing a lot of organizations some time in case they have SharePoint framework code that has gotten affected by this. They can have some time to update their code to make sure it will work nice and happily with the new UI. Now you'll opt in. There's a link in the description below to see where that is. It's also available in this link in the blog in this particular blog post, also down in the description. And once you've enabled that, it activates pretty much within minutes. And users can still toggle with the bottom left option. They can toggle back and forth between the new and the old UI. I think this looks pretty cool. I'm not crazy about the app bar because the app bar has gotten a big update. There's a lot more things that we'll get into, but it's wider on the screen now. So you have less screen real estate for your actual content. So the app bar has gotten wider. The interface is a lot more modern looking, and a colleague of mine pointed out that a lot of this stuff we can attribute to Apple really bringing about this change. I'm not an Apple fan, but are they right? Let me know in the comments. And in this, let me see if I can zoom in. In the new app bar, you've got a few different options now. First, on the top right, on the top of the bar, you'll see Relic Cloud. This is going to take you to your home site in SharePoint. Every time, it just goes straight to your home site. So I think we're going to get a lot more value out of that home site, and there'll be more of a reason to designate that. There's a Discover feature that will be really, it's the new SharePoint start page. So a big opportunity there for a revamped start page that will have some AI features in here as well. Maybe zoom out some, but you'll see your recent sites, your recent files. You'll be able to get to a lot of the content that you have created or accessed more quickly. Again, it's just an updated SharePoint start page. That's really all that is. It's overhauled, but it's not necessarily, new. And then next on the publish thing, let me go through here and just get past. I do like this little interactive demo though. And I can't see the publish thing, but let me just keep going through this. Okay, now we're on the publish section. So publish is going to be your new start page for publishing content. Now, this isn't just SharePoint content anymore now, because they are bringing Viva Amplify into this experience as well. So you'll have one place, whether you're doing corporate communications or broad communications, which is what Viva Amplify is really rock solid at, or you're just creating normal SharePoint content. All of that will start on this particular page. So I do really, really like that. You don't have to go to a Viva Amplify page or any of that kind of stuff. It's all brought right together. The Viva stuff still requires licensing though. We'll see if that continues. It probably will. Viva Amplify certainly has a ton of value and analytics behind it. I wish customers knew more about that or even were aware of that. I think that this merger of the SharePoint and Amplify publishing screens into one, I think that the goal of that is to increase awareness of Amplify. It's not just bringing the stuff together just to bring it together. I think it's about awareness, and I think it's going to be a really good move because more customers will discover Amplify and what it can offer to an M365 environment. Because it's not just for SharePoint. It's for Viva Engage. It hits so many different areas, including email. So there's a lot of stuff there, and I think that that's a really good move of Microsoft to merge these two together. Next is the Build tab or Build app inside the app bar. This is where you're going to start building those solutions. This is how you're going to start working with your sites, lists, and libraries and your agents through a single interface. So if you need to build out a brand new site and you want that experience I talked about before, where it's going to start refining and refining, you see that nice layout. If you want that experience, that's going to be found under the Build app inside here. And if for the conversational side, you will need a Copilot license. The messaging isn't real clear on this page anyway. It talks about if you're licensed for AI and SharePoint. But at this point, you should take that to mean an M365 Copilot license. So I think I may know why they are talking about licensed for AI and SharePoint and not explicitly calling out an M365 Copilot license. But I will save that until I get some confirmation, and then I will be letting you know right here on this channel. So if you're getting value, make sure you are subscribed so you know about that, and hit that like button if you think this is valuable information. If you've learned a couple of new things, click that like button. But if you don't have a Copilot license, you'll still be able to use all those same templates to get started building out your new site and things like that. So it is a nice, convenient thing that they've brought all those tools together right inside that app bar. I think it's a great decision. And hopefully maybe the app bar will get a little bit more love. I've honestly never found much of a need to use it personally. But I think that with this functionality, I think I'll probably start using it at least some, maybe a lot. We'll see. And then, of course, there's that link to OneDrive as well. So that kind of covers all of the app bar things. One question I do have, though, so as part of this new user interface, you'll see that the Viva Connections app is kind of getting more embedded into SharePoint. So we're getting more Viva Connections in SharePoint. We're getting Viva Amplify in SharePoint. We already had some small Viva Engage web parts in SharePoint. Is the future of Viva Connections in jeopardy, or the Viva Suite? Definitely. Is that in jeopardy? I don't think so. Not at this point. It looks like they're trying to raise awareness because Viva has always had it's always been a marketing challenge for Microsoft. That from my perspective, it's been hard to really demonstrate and constantly mention what the Viva Suite and all the applications in it can do for organizations. So I think this is a really good chance to really get in the face of all the SharePoint folks and all the other employees that use this to kind of hint at, hey, there's the Viva Amplify that you could do this if you had that feature enabled. So but I don't think that Viva is going to go away. It could be that we start to see more of a merger between those two. Everything could start to get brought into SharePoint. Engage, I don't think, can go into SharePoint, to be honest. That's a community thing, which really isn't suitable for an intranet experience, and maybe they can come up with a better way. The Viva Connections app in Teams here's the other clue, is it in jeopardy? It's evolving into the SharePoint app. So they're basically changing the name of it. So are they debranding Viva? Are they making it just SharePoint features, SharePoint community features, SharePoint employee engagement? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and let's talk through this together. And those features are going to start rolling out in April. So also very, very soon. Now we get into the enhanced governance thing. So there's a few different things that make this up. There's the SharePoint admin agent that is in the SharePoint admin center. That's going to give you that's an already exists. I've covered that in my previous videos. So look back maybe a month or two, and you should be able to find that admin agent video. But it has new agentic skills inside there. For instance, it will analyze tenant-wide permissions. It can flag oversharing. It can explain root causes for maybe permission issues and other things, and it can help you out there. So it can do a lot of the digging because there's admin agents there's admin MCP servers available. So it can do all of that kind of stuff. There's new SharePoint site lifecycle management skills. So it can, through that chat experience, it can show you the inactive sites, the ownerless or orphaned sites. It can show you high-risk sites, probably based off of how much sharing is going on versus sensitivity labels that are applied on there, and can give you some real clear guidance and insight on how to clean up all that mess. And then also there are storage management skills. I'll be interested in that as well, because storage management is pretty tough in SharePoint. A lot of people are struggling with that. So I think if you haven't discovered the SharePoint admin agent yet, you definitely should be trying it out. I don't know if it requires a Copilot license. I would have to check back with the other video. It might, but I don't recall off the top of my head. And then the other update is it's worth mentioning is M365 backup. If you are using that, there's a departmental billing option, but backup is kind of, I'm not sure if that's going to last. I don't really hear anyone talking about this. They're talking about, much more comprehensive backup solutions like AFI perhaps. But I don't know. We'll see. I think there's some good APIs as part of that backup service from Microsoft. So we'll see what happens with that one. So that covers the big news that Microsoft unveiled. If you want to see other great SharePoint content, then just click or tap the screen and I'll see you over there.